It's a pleasure to have you, my
Appreciate
brother.
you, my brother. Joey Badass, man. Legendary rapper, actor. You're a renaissance man, but more importantly, I like the role that you're playing now as far as a father, as
Hmm.
far as
Sure.
in the relationship with your woman open. Like I just feel like you are setting a great example of masculinity in 2025, because it's a lot of other things that's put out there in the media, but what you're doing as far as how you're handling yourself is very reminiscent of an era that's familiar to me as far as being a little older than you, and I feel like you kind of like an old soul, so I appreciate the way
For
that you
sure.
carry yourself first and foremost.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate. Yeah, man. I'm all for the collective, and I think that one of the main things that we need to be doing as a people is getting right with each other. And we gotta, the relationship, the family aspect is a lot of healing that gotta be done in that. And I kind of keep that in my sights, and I take my relationship with my woman very seriously, but deeper even beyond us. Like I look at us as if we have the opportunity to course correct. We have the opportunity to stand on this platform and almost be an example, to our community of what we can be and what we should be. But no pressure, no pressure on anybody out there. I know it's definitely not easy
Joey.
finding
Well, that
somebody,
actually,
and I definitely
I
don't
want
want
to.
to make it seem like it's easy even being in that container with someone, because it
Yeah.
comes with its challenges for sure.
Well, I want to. That's where I want to start. I want to start with
Yeah. Let's
family
start
because
there.
you. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 30.
So as a young man, you got a family, right? Like, talk about that. Like, talk about to you the importance of having that family and some of the trials and tribulations, and how you're actually growing and learning how to become, a family man.
Man, I think I've always been family oriented,
Mhm.
just from when I was a kid, you know, uh barbecues and all of that, like at my great grandmother's house. And I was grateful enough to be born into a big family. It's funny because I remember when I got to like middle school, and I started really connecting with my friends and going by their homes and stuff. And I was like, oh snap, like everybody ain't got a big family,
Mhm.
and I started realizing how valuable that was to be able to grow up in a community that was so close knit, and people looking out for each other. So I think that's just something that I definitely inherited from my childhood. However, there's a lot of things that I did not see. Like I didn't I've never been to I've probably been to like two weddings in my life.
Really.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I didn't see any real examples of affectionate love growing up.
Mm.
So even though there was family, even though there was like community, I didn't really see relationships being developed and cultivated like that. So that's something that I took with me into my adulthood, and that's something that I try to create for myself and for the following generation that's coming after me. You know, um, my fiance and I, it's funny because just last night we like to have meetings with each other because we almost acknowledge the fact that part of being in this relationship with each other, or part of being in this container with each other, and part of cultivating a future with children and goals and stuff like that, is you kind of got to approach it from a business minded standpoint. So we had one of our meetings, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like usually we get like a WeWork office or something like that, and we meet in there and we put the goals on the board, and what I'm saying, we really plan it out. What's the long term? What's the short term? What's the now? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
What we gonna grab off the short term list and attack right now, like the next uh 36 next pardon me 12 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like creating what we feel we should have seen,
Mm-hmm.
becoming that, becoming the change that we want to see. And yeah, man, it's so dope because we there, and it's like our son is in there, and he only like 4 months now, but I'm just like, this is the type of future that we want to build, not only for ourselves but for our children, where they could grow up being like, oh, see, mom and dad in the meeting room again. There's a meeting of the minds again, and they part of it. They part of it. Like, this is what we gonna do. This is where we headed, and I think that's why a lot of relationships today are so doomed, or they fail, because you got two people who really don't come together and align with any
Mm.
type of goal, direction, or even business plan. You got two people essentially just floating in space, and not, you know, it was this quote I read a long time ago, right? It's like, I can't even necessarily remember it, but the analogy is pretty much like you being on a plane or you being on a boat, and just the smallest degree of you turning
Mm. 1 degree this way. Yep.
1 degree in this direction, or you turning the sail that direction, you end up somewhere you never even planned on going. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Negatively. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about mapping it out, and because some people are passengers on their own plane.
Mm.
They're passengers on their own ship, if you will. Like, some people don't even realize that they could get into the cockpit, or they could get into the captain's seat, and steer the whole thing where they want to go. So, we apply that a lot, and we make sure that we get super accountable on what this is and what we create and what we ultimately want to be.
How do you pick a person that's in alignment for you? And can you talk to us about some of the challenges that you guys face and how you work through them?
I think that's a great question. I think that there's a series of, like, what would I call it? Almost like there's the vetting process. And I think everybody is different. It's all about, you have to know personally what your value systems are.
Mm.
What do you value? What's of importance to you? And I'd advise people to approach it like a business. Like, if you're gonna sign a contract with somebody, right? You're gonna have non-negotiables.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nah, I ain't doing that. And you gotta stand firm on what those things are. And I think, again, a lot of people jump into these contracts, or they jump into these situations not even understanding what they terms are. And then now you get into this situation, and now you want to try to change your terms, and you know what I mean, but you already got the other party used to, nah, like, this is what it is, this is what we came into, this is what I expect now.
Yeah.
So I think communication, of course, is key. You gotta speak up for yourself. You gotta, like I said, you gotta state what your terms are. You gotta draw the line, and you gotta align. Most importantly, you gotta be with a with a candidate that you feel like you gonna do good business with. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate to make it so. I hate for it to seem like a transactional thing, because it's really not. But I do think that the business mindset does align with it, because you got to think about it. It's like, yo, listen, we could fall in love, we could be in love, but at some point, we gonna have to ask each other real questions, like, so what's your, like how do you save money? What's your money spending look like?
Yeah.
What's your money habits look like? Let's figure that out at the top. You know what I mean? Let's change the direction of where we going. Like, I like to trim the fat. Like, let's get right to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to waste my time, especially, me being so intentional with what it is that I know that I want to do. Like, I ain't just trying to play around. Like, we going for the long term, then we gotta ask long term questions. We gotta have that long term vision. Make sure that it aligns. Like, I ain't gonna wait. I ain't waiting 6 months to ask what you where you trying to be. You know what I'm saying? Or just ask the important questions that a
So
lot
How
of people don't think about
so
until shit really hit the
so
fan.
So your fiance, how you asked those questions right away with her?
Oh, listen. I sure did. I sure did. You know,
Get right to
a
it.
lot of tough questions at the top. You
Okay.
know, and it's funny because a lot of those questions that I asked, like I could tell she wasn't used to that.
Mm.
You know, she wasn't used to be challenged in that type of way. Like, yo, like, you know, and you know, it's been so much progress for both of us. But yeah, you know, at the beginning, it'll almost be like, what you asking me these questions for? And I'm like, girl, because I'm serious. It's like I ain't trying to play around. Like, you think this is a game? Like, I'm serious. Like, what do you value? What do you like? You know what I'm saying? Like, just getting really, really real. I don't got no time to play. I ain't joking.